Hello, and welcome to the Age of Enlightenment. My name is Dr. Robert Stacy, Professor of Government here at HBU, and observer of all things Enlightenment. Well, in a dramatic statement this week, President Obama essentially declared martial law on healthcare. Under pressure from Democratic allies in Congress, concerned about re-election in 2014, the president acknowledged that there were problems with the rollout, and maybe even some of his promises have not been fulfilled. Now, it turns out the president's fix is not the only one on the table. A couple of legislative fixes are also being considered. In the House of Representatives, Representative Fred Upton, a Republican, has proposed a kind of cessation of the law for a period. His bill would allow insurers to renew their plans previously canceled due to Obamacare. However, he does not require that they do so. In fact, House leaders have said this is just the first step towards an ultimate move to repeal the Obamacare bill. Second on the table is a proposal by Senator Mary Landrieu of Louisiana, a Democrat. Now, Louisiana, as you know, is a Republican-leaning state, and she's a Democratic incumbent up for re-election. Her bill would require insurers to restore plans for 1 year. It would also require insurers to send a letter, an annual letter, to their insured explaining why their policy does not conform to Obamacare. The effect of that, essentially, is to have the insurers take responsibility for the cancellations and not the government. It's kind of passing the buck a bit. Finally, then, on the table is Barack Obama's own fix, which is really not much of a fix at all. It essentially postpones enforcement of the current law for just 1 year. So, as he says in the past, you get to keep your plan if you want to. What this would do, this new sort of pronouncement by the president this week, all it would simply do is push back 1 year the loss of your health care plan. So ultimately, it is brilliant in the sense that it pushes it behind the 2014 election. The day you wake up and find out that your health care plan is gone will be after you re-elected your Democratic senator. But in the meantime, it seems to provide a certain kind of leadership, even if it's only temporary. One thing we need to add is the economics here. Any of these plans, if any of them get pushed forward, it has an economic impact on the future of Obamacare. The implication of Obamacare is that people who can afford a better kind of health care and can afford, for example, higher levels of coverage, will be asked to pay for higher levels of coverage even if they don't really need it. That puts more money into the system so that those who can afford lower levels of coverage can be supplemented and receive a discounted rate. If these people in the first category do not end up having their plans canceled, it's going to cause an overall rise in prices for all the healthcare plans in the exchange. The bottom line for this is trouble for the Democrats. They have a big problem to try and resolve, and they know the clock is ticking with the 2014 elections not too far away. Well, that's enough for today. Thank you for joining us at Age of Enlightenment. Thank you for coming.